Hi everyone, hope you're all okay. I'm back reading another chapter of Mrs. Pepperpot today. I hope you've all had a lovely day and maybe a busy day as well. I've been busy in my garden and my house doing a bit of housework and just catching up on things there. But everything's okay, so I hope you all are too. So I'm reading another story from Mrs. Pepperpot. And this one is called Queen of the Crows. Did you know that the woman who was as small as a pepper pot was queen of all the crows in the forest? No, of course you didn't, because it was a secret between Mrs. Pepperpot and me until now. But I'm going to tell you what happened. Outside the old woman's house there was a wooden fence, and on it used to sit a large crow. I can't understand why that crow has to sit there staring in at the kitchen window all the time, said Mr. Pepperpot. I can't imagine, said Mrs. Pepperpot. Shoo, get along with you. But the crow didn't move from the fence. Then one day Mrs. Pepperpot had her shrinking turn again. I can't remember now what she was supposed to be doing that day, but she was very busy. And by the time she had clambered over the doorstep, she was quite out of breath. Oh dear, it's certainly hard to be so small, she puffed. Suddenly there was a sound of flapping wings, and the crow swooped down, picked up Mrs. Pepperpot by her skirt, and flew up over the highest fir trees in the forest with her. There's a picture. I'll just show you. I'm not very good at this showing. There we go. What's the idea, may I ask? You wait till I'm back to my Pepperpot size and I'll beat you. Oh no, wait till I'm back to my proper size and I'll beat you with my birch rod and chase you off for good. Cow, cow. You're small enough now at any rate, said the crow. I've waited a long time for this. I saw you turn small once before, you see, so I thought it might happen again. And here we are, but only just in time. Today is the Crows' Festival, and I'm to be Queen of the Crows. If you're to be Queen of the Crows, you surely don't need to take an old woman like me along. That's just where you're wrong, said the crow, and flapped her wings. The old woman was heavier than she had expected. Wait till we get back to my nest, then you'll see why. There's not much else I can do, thought poor Mrs. Pepperpot, so she dangled from the crow's claws. Here we are home, said the crow, and dropped Mrs. Pepperpot into the nest. Lucky it's empty. It certainly is. I fell right on a spiky twig and grazed my shin bone. Poor little thing, said the crow, but look, I've made you a lovely bed of feathers and down. You'll find the down very snug and warm, and the feathers are just the thing when night falls and the wind begins to blow. What do I want with feathers and down? I want you to lie down and go to sleep, said the crow, but first you must lend me your clothes, so please take off your headscarf now, and your blouse and your skirt. The scarf I want you to tie round my neck. The skirt goes on one wing and the blouse on the other. Then I shall fly to the clearing in the forest where all the crows are meeting for the festival. The finest looking crow will be chosen queen, and that's going to be me. When I win, I'll think of you. Caw, caw. Well, if you think you'll be any better looking in my old clothes, you're welcome, said Mrs. Pepperpot as she dressed up the crow. Hurry, hurry, said the crow. There's another crow living over there in the fir tree on the hill. She'll be dropping in here on her way. We were going to the festival together, but now that I'm all dressed up, I'd rather go alone. Caw, caw, caw. And off she flew. Mrs. Pepperpot sat shivering in her petticoat. But then she thought of burrowing deep under the feathers and down as the crow had told her to do, and she found she was soon very warm and cosy. Suddenly the whole branch started swaying, and on the end perched a huge crow. Mary Crow, are you at home? Croaked the crow. sidling up and poking her big beak over the edge of the nest. "Mary Crow has gone to the festival," said Mrs. Pepperpot. "Then who are you? Who are you?" asked the crow. "I'm just an old woman shivering with cold because Mary Crow has taken my clothes." "Caw, caw! Oh, blow! She'll be the finest looking crow at the festival," shrieked the crow as she threw herself into the air from the branch. "But I'll have the scarf off her." Mrs. Pepperpot lay down to sleep again. Suddenly she rolled right over into the corner of the nest. The branch was shaking so much. "That'll be another crow," she thought. And quite right, it was. The biggest crow she had ever seen was swinging at the top tip of the branch. Mary Crow, have you seen Betty Crow?" "I've seen both Mary Crow and Betty Crow," said Mrs. Pepperpot. Who are you? Who are you?" squawked the crow. "I'm just an old woman shivering with cold because Mary Crow has borrowed my clothes." "Caw, caw, what a bore! Now Mary Crow will be the best looking crow." "I'm not so sure about that," said the old woman, "because Betty Crow flew after Mary Crow and was going to have the scarf off her." "I'll take the skirt, I'll take the skirt," croaked the biggest crow, and took off from the branch with such a bound that Mrs. Pepperpot had to hold tight, not to get thrown out of the nest. In the clearing in the forest there were lots and lots of crows. They sat round in a clearing in a circle, and one by one they hopped into the middle to show themselves. Some of the crows could hop on one leg without touching the ground with their wings. Others had different kinds of tricks, and the crows sitting round had to choose the best one to be their queen. At last there were only 3 crows left. They sat well away from each other, polishing their feathers and looking very fierce indeed. One had a scarf, the second had a skirt, and the third had a blouse, so you can guess which crows they were. One of them was to be chosen to be queen. "The crow with the scarf round her neck is the best," said some of the crows. "She looks most like a human being." "No, no, the crow with the skirt looks best." "Not at all. The crow with the blouse looks most dignified, and a queen should be dignified." Suddenly something fell with a bump onto the ground. The jay had arrived right in the middle of the festival with a strange-looking bird in its beak. "Caw, caw, the jay has no business to be here," croaked all the crows. "I won't stay a minute," said the jay. "I've just brought you your queen," and he flew off. All the crows stared round at the strange little raggedy bird in the middle of the ring. They could see it was covered in crow's feathers and down, but raggedy crows could not be allowed at the festival. "It's against the law," said the biggest crow. Let's peck it," said Mary Crow. "Yes, let's hack it to pieces," said Betty Crow. "Yes, yes," croaked all the crows. "We'll have no raggedy birds here." "Wait a minute," said the raggedy bird, and climbed onto a tree stump. "I'll sing you a song." And before they could stop it, it started singing Who Killed Cock Robin, and it knew all the verses. The crows were delighted. They clapped and flapped their wings till the raggedy bird nearly lost all its feathers. "Do you know any more? Do you know any more?" they croaked. "I can dance the polka," said the raggedy bird, and danced round the circle till they were all out of breath. "You shall be our queen," they all shouted. "4 court crows will carry you wherever you wish to go." "How wonderful!" laughed the Queen of the Crows. "Then they must carry me to the house over there by the edge of the forest. What would your Majesty like to wear?" "I would like to wear a skirt, a blouse and a headscarf," said the Queen. Much later that night there was a knock at the cottage door. Mr. Pepperpot opened it, and there stood his wife. "You're very late, wife," he said. "Where have you been?" "I've been to a festival," she answered. "But why are you covered in feathers?" "You just go to bed. Don't trouble yourself," said Mrs. Pepperpot. She went over and stuck a feather in the corner of the window. "Why did you do that?" asked her husband. "For no reason at all." But she really did it because she had been chosen the Queen of the Crows. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one. I like that one a lot, especially when the jay comes and picks Miss Pepperpot up and takes her to the circle of crows. I think that's my favourite bit. Anyway, let me know what your favourite bit is, and I'll see you all soon. Okay, take care. Bye.